Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and welcome back to the channel where we're going to have a second video here now for the Spaghetti Trader EA/robot. The Spaghetti Trader, we have been beta trading that now for a couple of weeks together with EXPERT4X and the rest of the premium forum members. And last week we sent out a video, which was this particular one here. So where we are basically going into details on what is the program, what different parts of it can you actually test. And we came up with some backtest results also at that particular time, which looks extremely profitable. But again, this is beta testing, and we also ran into a range of issues, and those are the issues also we're going to talk about in this particular video here. And we're also going to show you a bit more on exactly how the live testing went, because we also managed to do a bit of that, both on 4-hour and 1-hour charts. And those particular charts look a bit like this. We will definitely go on the servers themselves. As you can see here, there is both red and green in there. And that again means that obviously some of the trading was done. If it was done to our satisfaction, maybe not quite. But again, this is beta testing, and that's why we have a closer look exactly at what has happened. And there's no more signals, and we can go over them all in this particular video and just show you exactly what we draw from all these different testings we have done so far, and some of the issues that we ran into during the testing. So let's jump on to our VPS and just have a closer look at the signals so you understand exactly what has happened. Okay, so we're on the server, and we're on the server for the 1-hour charts. As you can see up here, we have opened all the different windows that we have, plus we have linked also to FX Blue account here. And below you can see the different symbols that has been trading here. So British pounds, Japanese, Euro, USD, and then we have another 3 British pounds, Japanese in here, Aussie Japanese, and Aussie USD. Now, if we start from the bottom up, well, if you can see the profit is negative here at the moment. Deposit was 100,000 for this particular one, a bit over the top. But again, this was one of the MT5 brokers that we used, and we didn't have a chance to go to 10,000. But that doesn't really matter in this concept. We have a look at the trade that was done on the Euro USD, the only one here. And this was a positive one. It seemed to reach it right at the top, and then it exited down here. And at first you can see that this is a very good run, basically, so a very short run. One of the things that I take from this here again is that a trailing stop would have been very nice if you could have ridden the wave all the way down to here. Again, there's two different ways of actually setting up the robot, which I described in the first video here also. So one is a simple crossover. So when the two different currencies are basically crossing over, you will exit the deal, or you can go in and you can set your individual stop losses. Now, we did a bit of testing on both for these particular ones. So there's no real indication which one is what here, but again, we take it out, trailing stop for this particular one on the first one. That stood out to us on one of the first trades. The next one we have here is a buy trade that was set up, and basically that was a bit of a loss on the British pounds Japanese. And we have another one that went in here again, so another buy, and again it came out here at a loss. We had another buy one more time, and also here at a loss. So obviously 3 quick trades losing, and then they tried for the 4th time here, and this time around it actually did work out for it. And again, we can see here that if it would have been riding the trend all the way up, trailing stop would have made a lot of sense to cash in all the way up to here, and maybe the trailing stop would have locked us out somewhere around this area again. So definitely it looks like it can do a bit of a trending currencies here if we just give it the right opportunities. Let's go and have a look at the next one, which is the Aussie Japanese. And if we have a look at this, basically we just have one, and that is a great one. You can see it actually comes in at the bottom here, so of the curve itself, and then it rides all the way up, and very, very quickly it gets out again. So this particular case, trailing stop wouldn't really have helped. So it would have cut the trailing stop off, most probably here again, and there wasn't much left in it. But then again, it wouldn't have hurt too much. Putting it in somewhere, it might have cut out somewhere in the same area. So let's go to the next one here. And this one is the Aussie USD. And also here we can see that that is only one, and that has gone against it. This was a buy in this particular case, and we ended up on the stop loss down here, and it didn't look like it's going to take any more trades in. We did have set it up for maximum 50 trades, so that was not the limitation itself. Would have been nice to see entry down here one more time in order to try and regain what we had so lost previously. That being done and said, let's have a look at the 4-hour one, which is a bit more on the positive side. The 4-hour one looks like this, and again we have all the different trades. We have them set up here. We can see the balance also is $100,000. It doesn't really matter too much. We traded it just with 0.1 lot. As you can see here, we were not so interested in how much money we can make. We're more interested in how well balanced is it, and is it actually profitable, also the percentage that it is profitable. And the 4-hour definitely looks a bit better. If you can see here, the first one is EuroCat, so which was also a nice positive one. We cashed in $28 on this particular one. Aussie USD was then a negative one, and we lost also the next one, which was Euro AUD, both with $44 and $54. After that, we have 3 consecutive wins: Aussie USD, Euro USD, and again USD Swiss francs. So a new currency coming in, and one only made 29, one made 100, 119, so a couple of good ones. And the last 3 ones here, they didn't run to the end because basically we ran out of time for the beta testing itself. So they were just closed off at the level they were, and which pretty much puts those last 3 trades into around 0. Again, let's have a closer look and see what they look like on the graph itself. This particular one here also on the Euro USD, it looked like it did quite well and ended up down here. And again, we have to say that this also looks like a trailing stop once more. Could have done it a world of good to gain at least 2 or 3 times the profits. EuroCat we also have here, and this particular one has been done a bit earlier, and this is the buy that we have put in, and again it cashes out. We can see that there is an opportunity here to have done even more. We could have gone up and maybe closed off slightly higher at 10-15% more. Definitely worth taking into consideration too. Euro AUD, let's have a look at that one. This one here went the wrong way, so this was actually a sell, and we continued up, and the stop loss basically kicked us out at the end of the day, and that was all fine. Unfortunately, we didn't see a new entry, so on the top of the Euro AUD here. Let's go to the next one and see US Swiss francs. This one here did very, very well, and it also did right at the bottom here, so that was absolutely perfect entry. And we can see that this went pretty well, a big stop this time around. And in this particular case, we can also see the profit 110, and we could have squeezed even more out of it again with a trailing stop if that was done. So we can see a lot of these trades we could have managed somewhere where we would have been kicked out, most probably around here on the trailing stop. So again, we could have made maybe 15-20% on that particular one. British pounds, Swiss francs, similar one here, but this one is at a loss. And again, the stop loss here is not too high. We can see that we got out of that one fairly quickly. It was a buy. And then shortly after, we basically got kicked out on this one, and nothing really else on to see on this. If we look at the British pounds Japanese, then we have another great one here. Also comes down and we get it almost at the bottom of the curve here, so which is absolutely perfect. And then we basically write the trend, and we write the trend just up again here, a bit short on where we could have been. So we could have taken maybe a bit more profit on this particular one again, but it looks like some of the currencies here, it works really, really well. So, and takes a very quick actually trades for most of the EAs. If we look at New Zealand Swiss francs, we can see again we had a buy in here, and it looked like it was going the right way, at least for a bit. And then we got slowly but surely kicked out afterwards down here again. And you can then again argue here for a trailing stop where you might have been able to actually get out as a positive trade for this particular one here. So we do believe that that is a possibility. It always matters, of course, how greedy you are with your trailing stops. You have to make a bit of room for the trades to actually happen. If we look at Aussie USD, we have a buy that goes in here, and that looks like it came just slightly early because we got kicked out. And then the EA basically caught it on the way back and put another buy in here. And this time around, we could see that that was a nice little one, and we made up the money lost before. But again, we left a lot of things on the table, and things could have been quite a lot better, actually several 100% better this time around. So, but again, this is something that needs to be tested, of course, a bit more thoroughly. So in the future. So let's have a closer look and see exactly what we learned from this particular beta test here. So first of all, testing on MT5 was required, basically because we are working on 28 different currency pairs. We are testing only one pair, so the Euro USD to start off with. But from there on, there is an option within the MT5 platform here to go and test your settings on all the other ones at the same time. MT4 do not have that particular option, and that is one of the things that we had to adapt to make sure that that would work. Now, we're not a great fan of MT5. Yes, the layouts and some of the details is actually exceptional. We can also see that the CPU usage, we can do a lot of things a lot faster, but it also takes up a lot of computer power. And it requires a lot of reboots most of the time, which is highly annoying. But the MT5 is the way to go, obviously, to set up the test. And then we have to use maybe a bit more time on the testing itself to see if we can actually also run this. So with basically tick data, which we didn't use in this particular case either, because we haven't set anything up for our MT5 platform here. We had to make quite a few adjustments as we normally wanted to run everything on MT4. We wanted to run it with the tick data we had also available. And that was simply not possible. And we're coming to that on a few points down here. So only a handful of settings to test, which is absolutely great. So a very, very easy EA to set up. Very simple RSI that is there, and then basically a trigger part where you then decide if you want to do take profit stop loss, or you want to do the crossover for the two different currencies itself. If you're not exactly sure what it is I'm talking about here, I suggest you go back and have a look at the first video that we made. Then things will make maybe a bit more sense. Difficult to test, more than one EA setting on each PC. Well, that has something to do with the CPU allocation for the MT5, because it will use all your CPU power basically if you can do it. And that means it's very difficult to have multiple things running at the same time. Or if you want to use your computer for other things, we definitely found that a bit of an issue, even on the VPS where we have many different things running. If you will allow it, it will basically take all the power and the CPU also out of it. And that means that if you have other trading going on, as we had here, we didn't have a dedicated test server for this run. then it creates some issues, and that's also why we didn't manage to get any more different time frames up and running for this EA. Now, definitely, you heard us already say the trading stop could have improved the profit, and I believe we actually proved it in what you just saw on those handful of trades that we had in here. It's not many, but obviously that is one of the first things that stood out to me, that this is a good thing to have in there. You can always switch it off if you don't want to use it, of course. Some traders swear by it, other ones don't really want to have it in there. But the trades that we took, we could see that there was definitely more profit to be had. And we are not just talking about 5-10%. It looked more like somewhere in the region of 15-20, all the way up to maybe 40 or 50%. And definitely you don't want to be leaving that on the table at the end of the day. Now, we also had a selection of currency that included the 28 different currency pairs, and we ran into some issues very early on. I didn't see anybody else have that issue, but there was one currency pair on the MT4 platform with the IG broker here that wasn't included, and that basically stopped everything testing. You couldn't even set it up as a live demo account. It simply wouldn't do that. And what we then suggested here to both Alex at EXPERT4X and EA Factory is you can go in and exclude maybe some of the currency pairs that your broker don't have. Otherwise, that means that you have to make changes to your broker, and it can be a bit difficult to find the right one that works for you. So definitely we have tested a lot of different ones, and we don't really want to start going at new brokers again just for this particular one EA. So I'm hoping that this will also be in there where you can take individual currencies out of it to make sure that you can run the rest of them. On top of that, one of the things that we learned here also is the 1 hour and 4 hour seems to be the more stable time frame. We tried to do a lot of testing, especially on the 50-minute time frame, which was extremely time consuming. But we didn't find the results actually to be much better. And we also saw a couple of people in the premium forum that seems to have the same issue, at least on the back testing itself. Again, we used the broker data, which is not accurate enough. And if we had more time for the testing and everything else, we would obviously prefer to use the tick data in here. Absolutely the best data available, and that will give us hopefully better and more solid results over time. But again, this is beta testing. This is what we learned. Obviously, we then have to wait until Alex and EXPERT4X comes back with more. So now that we mentioned the 28 currency pairs, you can see them here on the screen. And these are the different ones that the EA is trading up against each other. So which ones are the weak ones, which are the strong ones. But the issue we had on the MT4 platform here with especially IG was the New Zealand cat. It wasn't there, and then basically that is the defect that we got up at the end of the day, and it wouldn't simply allow us to trade this particular one. So obviously something to take into consideration when you then have a look at everything that we learned in here. Now, Alex has already finished the beta testing that finished over the weekend. And he sent out a little email. So to all the traders here, it says, "Hi everyone, a big thank you to all the beta testers for testing the Spaghetti Trader in the last week. Thanks for the valuable feedback that resulted in changes to the Spaghetti robot. We don't exactly know which ones they are. Based on the feedback, we'll be creating a new version of the Spaghetti robot, and we will be testing it internally for the next 2 weeks with a probable launch date about the 22nd of February, which sounds great. Thanks again for your constructive feedback, and kind regards from Alex." So there you have all our findings, all our observations from the beta test itself. If you were in on it also and doing the beta testing but didn't put anything in on the premium forum, we would obviously love to hear from you. What was your take on the particular EA? And if you even were on the testing itself, I know we discussed a lot of things internally in the premium forum here, even though it was a very short period of time testing, and we didn't feel that we had enough time to probably test everything. But again, this is beta testing, and that obviously means that we are trying to iron out most of the first time impressions and information here, so that we have All the further backtesting and all the tweaking, all these other things are obviously coming later on. And definitely we will continue to make videos on that if Alex agrees that we should see more of the Spaghetti Trader itself. Now we have already set up our webpage as usual, so you can go to our homepage here where we have plenty of things already from other EAs. You can see the copy link trading in there, profit retriever, which we have been working on for quite a long time, a bit more about EXPERT4X. And now also we have the Spaghetti Trader, obviously a bit of limited information at the moment, but we do have both these accounts that you saw and we just shared with you here. We have them on FX Blue also, so you can go in and have a bit more of a detailed look into exactly how they worked. And we have both the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame there. So a bit of information to go back on. And then from there on, when we then get our hands on the robot, when we start trading it, then of course we will try and share the information as we normally do, similar to what we have done here also with the profit retriever. So we hope that you enjoyed this video, and there will be more videos to come in the future, and definitely hopefully also more profit overall. So make sure you keep the notification bell on, so you will make sure you see our next videos. Thank you for today and hope to see you on one of my next videos. Bye-bye.